The July training cycle in RevFit. So the big focus this time is going to be on rowing, hamstrings, and more arm work. So here's what's going on. There's 3 days, and there is 3 supersets per day. Okay, 4 to 5 rounds of each, and we're looking at a lot of constant tension stuff. So it's going to be pretty burny. There'll be a lot of movements you haven't seen or done for a while. So expect some DOMs in the first couple of weeks, and that'll obviously iron out as the weeks go on. We're going to run this for about 4 or 5 weeks. I have something else coming up that you're going to like. I just don't want to tell you what it is yet. I do know, by the way, I'm not just lying. So we got half kneeling press and good morning on day one. The good morning is basically like a stiff leg deadlift, except the bar's on your back in a squat position. If you want to YouTube it before you come in training, you'll see what it is. And if you don't, just show up and we'll show you exactly what to do as always. 4 sets of 8 on each. Dumbbell row and tempo back squat. With the tempo back squat, what you're doing is a 3-second negative and a 3-second positive. So the most important part of this is to get your tempo right. Okay, the weight is completely irrelevant. So don't worry about that, just hold your tempo. 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down. It's going to feel like an eternity and you're going to try and race it, so don't. In your head, go 3 1000, 2 1000, 1 1000. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. Okay, that's going to feel super slow. And if it does feel super slow, you're probably still going too fast, so slow it down even further. Okay, from there, you're going to finish off that day with dumbbell curls and bench pressing. With the dumbbell curls, you're going to just come through with as good a technique as you can manage across the sets. Because the bicep is a small muscle group and it's quite isolated, it'll fatigue very quickly. So if you notice the difficulty of the set getting exponentially harder as you go through the 4 sets, that's completely okay. If you need to drop the dumbbells, put them down, shake the arms out, but make sure you finish your 15 reps. On the bench press, you've got 4 sets of 15, and you're not looking for a lockout, so you're not going back to straight arms. You're doing a 3/4 range, bodybuilding style bench press. The whole point of that is to keep constant tension on your chest and not have your triceps fatigue, because on the higher rep stuff, the triceps will probably go first. It's one of the rare times you're going to hear me say don't go full range of motion, but there is a reason. I'm not just saying it for the sake of saying it. Similarly, on the back squat, I should have said you're not looking to lock out there either. You're going to stop about 3/4 of the way up to keep the constant tension on your quads. That's going to feel very tough and it's going to be quite burny. But remember, a little bit of lactate won't kill you, so just try and grit the teeth and keep moving. Day 2, seated dumbbell press and overhand barbell row. 2 dumbbells going at a time on the dumbbell press, so you're sitting down and both arms are working. With the overhand barbell row, for a lot of it you've been using underhand. This time we're going to use overhand and make it a little bit more difficult. You want to make sure your forearm stays straight so your wrist to your elbow doesn't move. Because if your wrist and hands start to cock around, it becomes mostly a forearm exercise, which will fatigue your grip too fast. So make sure your barbell is just hanging from your hands and you're not using your hands or forearms to move it. Dips and stiff leg deadlifts is B1 and B2. With the dips, goal number 1 is to get like a full range of motion push-up for 12. So that'd be like chin to floor for 12 reps. Once you can get that done, you're going to move on to band assisted dips. So black band and a red band together. Once you're okay there, then you move to a black band on its own. And once you're okay there, you move to a red band on its own. And once you're okay there, then you start hammering out dips on their own. So with the dips, if you can't do a full push-up or if you can't do 12 full push-ups, that's completely okay. You just go back the other way. So you build up some mats. To do a partial range of motion push-up. So you might do 3 push-ups through 3 mats, and then push-ups to 2 mats, and then push-ups to 1 mat. Or maybe we use a band to assist you. Like there's 101 ways we can do this, and we'll figure it out with you individually though as we go, because the best approach is going to be person specific. Stiff leg deadlifts then 5 sets of 12, and then diamond push-ups and offset split squats. The diamond push-up is basically like a finger and thumb touching push-up. The thing with that though is the wrist can get a little bit achy on some people. So if you're one of those guys or girls, you just split your hands out a tiny bit wider and point your hands straight ahead instead of going into the diamond position. If the push-up off the floor is killing you, then we'll just elevate the bar into the rack. So start with the bar somewhere around hole 6, somewhere like hole 6, 7 or 8, and do your push-ups there. And we'll just try and take the rack height down weekly, even though it says weekly on the sheet. That should say weekly. Never mind. The offset split squat then is 15 reps each leg. So we're going to do 15 full range reps on the first set, and then in the weeks and sets afterwards, if you can do 1 set of 15 without missing any reps or without sacrificing your quality, grab a dumbbell and do that. So if your left foot's on the bench, your left hand has the dumbbell. Similarly, if your right foot is back on the bench, your right hand has the dumbbell. The reason for that is because you're offsetting, you've no base of support on that side. So the dumbbell is trying to pull you over to one side, which forces your core to co-contract, which means you get a leg workout and you get a bit of core stabilization work. Okay. The core stabilization work is super important because the primary function of your core is to stabilize your spine. It's not to move and do sit-ups. So you're kind of training that quality like without realizing you're training it. It's the same as the one-arm dumbbell bench later on. Okay, so on day 3, you've got dips again. With the dips, if you did black band and red band for 12, try black band on its own for 8. If you did black band on its own for 12, try red band on its own for 8. If you did red band for 8, try bodyweight dips on their own for as many reps as you can get, and then bring the band in as you need it. The tempo dumbbell row is similar to the squat, 3 second up, 3 second down. If you can't hold the tempo, the weight is just too heavy. Again, guys, you've got to take the hit on the weight for this because at the end of the day, it's your muscles that move weight. It's not, your body doesn't care about the weight you're moving. It cares about the tension you create. One of the best ways to create more tension is to lift more weights. But another way to create more tension is to do it slower so you force your muscles to contract harder. And that's what we're looking for on this. And then you've got a static barbell lunge and one-arm dumbbell bench press. The static lunge is basically getting into a lunge position and your feet don't move until you've done all 12 reps. One-arm dumbbell bench is a dumbbell bench except you're lying on the bench and one hand is moving at a time. Again, same idea, it forces your core to co-contract so that you don't get pulled off the bench. Good mornings and dumbbell extensions are back. So you're seeing good mornings again on day 3. They need to be a lot lighter because obviously you're doing 15 reps instead of 6. So knock off like 10, 15, maybe 20%. Again, this is only going to be something you need to figure out in the first week because after that you're going to try and push it from there on in. Then dumbbell extension for 15 reps, like just a dumbbell skull crusher. Again, aim for your shoulders with this, not your head, obviously. And again, we'll be coaching you through this because there's a couple of subtleties that won't come across through audio. With the final note here, okay? So these workouts, essentially you do A1 and then A2, you rest 60 seconds and then you repeat for 4 rounds, okay? So let's say you've got that done and you still feel okay or you're moving through pretty smoothly. A really cool thing you could do at the end is add in a rest pause set. But you're only doing that on things that don't have a lower back loading element. So you wouldn't do it on good mornings, you wouldn't do it on stiff leg deadlifts, you probably wouldn't do it on your squats either. Okay, I think that's probably the ones you'd avoid it on. Yeah, you wouldn't do it on your split squats. Well, you can do it on split squats if you want. But basically what you're doing is adding in a rest pause set to increase the gains. So basically what that means is you do as many reps as possible. So let's say you're doing dips and you smash out 8. And you're like, right, I'm going to go again. So you do like a set of 8. The next set, then you go and do as many as you can. You rest 15 seconds, you do as many as you can again. Rest 15 seconds and do as many as you can again. So you're doing like a super drop set at the end. Again, that's something that's going to come in later weeks. So we'll talk to you about it when the time is relevant. And it may not even be something we bring in. It's just something to use in case you start to smash through these workouts really quickly. But look, guys, we're going to take you through everything. If you haven't seen any of these movements, don't worry because we will show you them in detail. With the barbell lifts, try and push those up each week. The dumbbell stuff like the half kneeling press and the row and the curls and the stuff like that is probably not going to move as quickly because it's difficult to micro load them like you could with a barbell. But again, show up, train 3 days a week, smash the workouts, bring everything you have and leave nothing behind and you will see progress. Okay, I promise you of that. Any questions, just let us know.